Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about math operators. So these first ones are going to be common ones. So that's addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And they're all right here, except for division, which we're going to do down here. So if we run this, we get the addition part works, and it doesn't matter if this is a float and this is an integer. It still does its operations, and we get 54.0. Because 5.4 moved over one decimal point is 54, but it also makes this 0.0 because this one right here has a decimal too. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. If one of them has a decimal, then the solution or the result will have a decimal also. All right, for this next one, we're going to go ahead and do some division. So division works just like you think it would. It divides it. And then we have this double division sign. And all that means is it's going to round down. So if we run it, it's going to take 0.54 and it'll round it down to 0. And then the same thing's true with these next ones. We get 1.6 repeating for the 5 divided by 3. But if we go ahead and do the same thing and round it down, we just get 1. So there you go. So if you ever need to round down, you can use the double division sign. The next one is a pretty interesting one. It's called modulus. And what it does is a pretty simple operation, which you guys have done in elementary school. But it's, well, I'll show you how it's useful in a little bit. So if we run this, we get 2. So how do you think we get 2 from that? So how it works is 5 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 5 one time. But that's not the number we get here. That's the number we get up here. And what's left over, or the remainder, is 2, which is what this is. So modulus is just like the remainder after division. And then we also have power. So we have 5 raised to the third power. And if we run that, we get 125 because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Going back really briefly to the modulus one. So if we're doing modulus, a common thing, semi-common thing to do is find out if a number is even or odd. You can figure out if something's divisible by 3 or divisible by 5 or whatever. But sometimes, like when we want to color like rows a certain color, we can see if it's an even row or an odd row. And we can do that by doing something like if the number, we don't know what number that is, but let's say we have a variable called num. And if that number mod 2 equals 0, so if we go ahead and take the number, let's just make one right here, num equals 8. If we make it equal to 0, if we divide it by 2 and the remainder is 0, then that means it's an even number. Then we can go ahead and print num. Let's do this. Num, whatever the number is even. So let's go ahead and run this. And we see that 8 is even. If we change this to 9, nothing happens. So then we can do an else. Let's just do another if statement. So if num mod 2 is equal to, and how do we find out if something is odd? Well, it's odd if when we divide it by 2, there's 1 left over because it didn't go into it evenly. So then we can go ahead and print that number is odd. So we'll go ahead and run that, and it says 9 is odd. Then we can do 10, and 10 is even. So that's a fairly common use case for modulus. So in summary, we have the basic stuff, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then we have this double division, which allows us to round down. We have modulus that gives us the remainder after division. And then we have power, where the 5 is the base, the first number is the base, and the second number is the exponent. Now that you guys learned about math operators like modulus, you can take a look at some comparison operators like greater than and not. You can do that over here. Also, if you missed it, you guys can look at how to name your variables a little bit better. And you can do that over here. All right, take care.